So let's get started. And then we have Clara joining. Hello, Clara. Mhm. How are you? All good? Good. Nice. So yeah, I am sharing my screen and let's get started. So so this week let's try something different. And I have an idea. So let's challenge a bot. So maybe someone was like rating us 2000 or something. I know it's high. I know it's a high score, but I will join you guys. So uh, don't be afraid. Hello, Jane.
Hello.
Hello, nice background. A chessboard. Cool. So we just started and said that so today we'll try something different. So let's play a game together against a bot. So I will choose someone who has 2000 as rating. So it's pretty high. Jean?
Right now on my chess.com account, I'm trying to beat all the chessbots.
Hmm. So what are the how many ratings of the sports you are like?
I can go and check because I have split screen.
Oh, okay.
I um
Yeah, I mean, check if you want. I'm just curious to do, so I ask. Uh, but anyway, so I would like to like play the game like this. So as I said, I will join you guys. So I will be the one playing the first move, and I will ask around the screen from Jane, Clara, Jaden, and Blake. So any one of you will have a chance to play a move, and one after the other. But there is something I would like to suggest. So I will like ask one of three questions to each one of you when it's your turn. The question could be like, what is the purpose of your opponent's move? And I will ask you to make some like reason basically. The second question could be when you make the move or before you make the move, what is the purpose or what is the plan when you make the move? Okay, so what is the plan of a move? And the third question would be, um, what do you expect the move from your opponent after you make the move? So basically, the three questions. I will not like ask all of the questions at one turn. That's overwhelming. I will pick like maybe one of the three to ask. So let's play as white for this game. And after we finished, we will review the game and let's see how we can learn together. Is that clear? Any question or thought? Otherwise, let's get going. Cool. So as I said, let's try to challenge someone who has 2000. I think that's pretty high, at least higher than most of us. So yeah, just to make things fun, let's try. Let me try. Let me play the first move. I'll try something like G3. I'll play something less common. Uh, so yeah, next one, Jin. And so yeah, let me know your move.
um I know the purpose of G3 is kind of to give the bishop a different diagonal, but I like controlling the center, so I would do E4.
Into E4.
No, but
Okay.
E4 blocks. Maybe I'll do E3 or
Mm-hmm.
maybe D4 because if I move to E4 when my bishop goes to G2, the pawn blocks it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll do E3.
Okay, you will do E3. Okay. Thank you very much. But before I move the piece, Jada, do you want to say something? Your hand is up.
Um, I would suggest D3 because I have a roommate. Actually want to play knight to F3, but then he'll just kick me, so it's a waste of a tempo. And it can also like give the ducks with bishop a diagonal.
So did you suggest what would you suggest? D3?
D3, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean it's welcome for everyone else to give in like input. So Jin, what do you think? Do you like what would you choose? Like still like E3 or something else? It's up to you to decide. So you are the boss this turn, Jin.
Actually, I also thought of another move.
Mm-hmm.
It's knight to c3 because if we move to e, oh no, we could actually I do d3.
You mean D3?
Yes, because it makes the back pawn not be able to move to e4.
Okay, cool. So shall I move the piece?
Yeah.
Good. Yes, let's do that. So, I mean, it's good that we hear the ideas, even though it's not your turn, because we five work as a team, right? So it's good that we can hear the ideas and the reasoning from our like teammates. So it's good to make our moves and plan consistent. Very good move. So very good job. And so our opponent play Queen F6. And Jaden, it's your turn. What do you think?
I think he's probably maybe threatening um maybe a scholar's mate to like really destroy our position on F7. That's why I wanted that's probably what he's probably gonna attack F3, so F2, so I probably will play knight F3 first.
Mm-hmm. So you want to like kind of to yeah
Block.
cover your
Yeah.
pawn. Mm-hmm. Knight F3. Good. Let's try that out. Yeah, I agree. The queen developed. Oh, it's interesting. The queen moved to F6 and to D6. So thank you, Jaden. And so now interesting that the order of your screen like change when some of you speak. But I will guarantee like any one of you have a chance to make a decision. So Clara, would you want to be the next one?
Uh, 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 maybe knight C3.
You are going to play knight c3, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, huh? Okay. So first of all, I was like curious to know the purpose of this queen d6. What do you think? Well, what is the purpose of this move, Clara? What do you think?
Uh, so the knight on G8 could develop.
Okay, the knight on g8 could develop. Yes, I think so. I agree with you. To be honest, it's difficult to find the purpose of this move because it's unusual to move the queen like two times in opening. I think it's a little bit wasteful when it comes to piece development, right? And also, I don't think queen at d6 can target at anything. So the only reason I can think about, I agree with you, that is like give this space for the knight. Okay, so knight c3, right? Shall I move the piece, Clara?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But one more thing. Sorry, Jaden, your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just thinking of E4 pawn takes, and then queen trades off. if it's black to move, he might play e4, and then if you take it, he can like get your king to stop castling for down a
Oh,
pawn.
okay, so
And you
black
can
could, yeah, I see your point. Yeah, let's say
and that's why I play knight if you want to protect my queen and to attack e4.
Okay, so yeah, so maybe black want to like open the semi-open file and trade the queens. And what I think is that I don't know, it's that the threat if queen like take our queen. Jaden, what do you think?
Probably because he might want your king on the same area file, not able to castle. And if you have king's fianchetto or bishop, usually you are castling kingside, but when you can't castle, it's probably like harder to get your king safer on the king side.
Okay. Yeah, so my point of view is if we trade the queens, if both sides don't have the queen on the board, sometimes even though we cannot castle, it's still okay. And also another thing is if we can win the pawn, so maybe black sacrifice a pawn is not worth it for black's perspective, just to making the white king like to the left square. And then also after knight c3, I don't think black play e4 we can I mean we can take that with knight, right? Still keep our pawn structure like closed. Okay, but it's a very interesting thought, thinking about the purpose of the queen d6. Cool, let's move the knight to c3. Very good job. Thank you, everyone. So knight c6, black developed the knight. So Blake, it's your turn. So what are you going to do?
I would play bishop g2 to develop the bishop.
Develop bishop. And my question is, after bishop to g2, what could be your next move?
I'm thinking about like knight d2 and knight c4.
Okay, knight d2 and knight c4. And you want to attack the queen, I guess. Or
Can open up the bishop.
yeah, it's good. It's good to open this diagonal. Good. Bishop g2. Finally, someone played bishop g2. I played g3 at the first move, and finally we have bishop g2. I mean, I don't complain because the position is quite close. It's fine to move like bishop g2 later, but yes, this move, I think that is the purpose of my g3. So now someone played that bishop g2. Thank you, Blake. Okay, queen to e6. Okay, this couple of moves so strange, so awkward, and the queen moved to e6. So let's change reverse order. So Blake, it's your turn again. So I will do a reverse like order. So Blake, question: what is the purpose of queen e6?
Maybe to develop the dark squared bishop.
That's the bishop, yeah, because the d6 thing block the bishop. I think something we can learn from this couple of moves is if you develop your queen too early, so that will block the rest of pieces, the development of rest of pieces, like what you see. Like first of all, the queen moved to d6 to give some space for the knight, and then move back to e6, trying to like open this diagonal. And I would anticipate that the queen will block the light square bishop later on. Cool, queen e6. And then what could be your move, Blake?
So right now I'm thinking about knight d2.
So you're going to play knight d2 still. You want to, what was the purpose?
I want to develop. I mean, I want to open up the light squared bishop, and after knight c4, maybe f4.
So because last we mentioned maybe knight c4 we can attack the queen, but right now the queen moved to e6. Do you still want to play knight c4 because you cannot quick kick the queen?
Yeah, I kind of kick the queen, but I want to play like f4 in the future.
You want to play f4. Okay, I see your point. Thank you. Let's move knight to d2. Let's do that. Knight to b4. Black play knight to b4. And back to you, Clara. What is the purpose of this move?
So the first thing is to attack C2, but then C2 is already defended by the queen.
So we don't need to worry about this attack, I think.
So you can just kick it, but I don't know what it's doing.
Okay, so did you say you want to kick it? Or
Yeah.
Then I assume A3? Or what is your plan? What is your move?
I think I'll just kick it.
Let's do that. Kick the knight. And ouch, knight go back. So yeah, I think like black our opponent made bad moves because now it's our turn again. So I think black wasted like 2 moves. So knight moved to b4 and going back to c6. And they really slow down the piece development. Okay, cool. So Jaden. Thank you, Clara. And Jaden, what do you think? What is your plan?
I've got a move. I think I might castle, or I'll castle first. I think I'll castle first.
And what could be your plan after castle?
After castle, I might I might get my knight to c4 and then develop my bishop to g5.
Knight to c4, bishop to g5. So you can, or we can develop pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Let's castle. Make the king safe. That's one of the principles in opening. Knight to d4. So black moved the knight. How many moves has the knight been taken? Like 4 moves. Knight to d4. So Jin, what do you think? What do you think the purpose of knight to d4? And do we need to do something about it?
I don't. All the squares that it can move to, basically we've covered it all. Like C2, B3, B5, C6, they just move. So, and the queen's blocking E6. The knight can go to F5, and it can't go to F3 or E2. So it only has 2 available squares. One of them is the one that they just moved from. So technically, there's only one purpose to move the knight. It's probably to move it to F5.
Okay, you
So
mean
if we could.
Sorry to interrupt, Jane. When you say F5, do you mean knight going to F5 or pawn going to F5?
Knight,
Okay.
because it's the only available square.
Okay.
We could try and defend it, but there's not a lot of moves that could. Or maybe we could just develop a pawn and go E3.
You mean like kick the knight?
Yeah.
Kick the center knight.
Wait, once we kick it and they go to F5, we can kick it again.
You mean F5 then E4?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to make the move? E3?
Yeah, E3.
Cool. Let's do that. Kick the knight. Okay, knight back to F5. And this is what you like expect. So we are very good at like anticipating the move from opponent. Cool. So we have like 2 rounds. I said I will join you guys, but I forgot it. So, but before we moving on, let's do a discussion together. My question is, which side is better after like the 9 moves? Yeah, I made the first move, and yeah, and you guys made 8 moves. Which side is better and why? Jaden, what do you think?
I think white is better because it's got more development and has castled, but and got central control D4. But then black's got like a central pawn, but white doesn't. And black and white is more like a sort of defensive position, and black hasn't really doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you think white is better, and yeah, okay. So anyone like object to it? Anyone has a different idea? Anyone disagree with it? So if we all agree like white is better, and the reason is, yeah, white has like developed pieces like quickly than our opponent. So what could be the next thing? So I mean, we have castle or king is safe, and I really like this structure, very solid to make sure our king is safe. And we have more or less divided the majority of like our minor pieces, like 2 knights and the bishop. Our pawns haven't like advanced to the 4th rank, but they are like controlling at least some of the center squares. And our opponent has only developed 2 pieces. So I think we have mentioned it quite some time that if you are quicker than your opponents in piece development, it's better to open the files or diagonals as soon as possible, because that is the way you can utilize this advantage, right? So let's make the next move as I would do something as a vote. So I will not ask like one of you to pick a move. I will ask all of you to give me a move, and let's vote the move that we get the most votes. And I will also ask the reasoning. So you can type your idea, or you can just speak out your idea. So for example, Clara mentioned something D4, so we get the 1 vote for the move D4. And I will ask you later, Clara, what is your purpose after everyone speak out their mind. Jaden, what is your idea? What is a move?
My idea is probably to play. I think I'd go for maybe knight comes out to c4.
Knight to C4. Okay. Yeah, again. So sorry, Jaden, I will get back to you when we hear the idea from the rest of the folks. Knight C4. Okay, I get another vote for Knight C4 from Blake. Jing, what do you think? What is your idea? We have, yeah, Knight C4 and D4. Do you agree with one of them, or do you have any other idea?
I might four.
Sorry, you broke up a bit. Can you repeat?
I might do what I wanted to do when the knight moved to f5. So I would move to e4.
Okay, so you want to kick the knight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And any other reason apart from attacking the knight when you play e4?
It also kind of controls the center a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, advance pawn to the center square. Sounds good. And thank you for your reasoning. So okay, so let's get back to Clara first. So you mentioned d4, right? What is your idea? What is the reason?
So if they take, or if they don't, or if they don't take, then I don't know. But if they take, and then we take back. There's only how much if they do it. But then if the knight takes, then you can just pin the queen.
Mm-hmm. You can make rook to e1 to pin the queen. Okay, is that all? Anything you want to add up?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Jaden, you mentioned knight c4. Any reason?
I think knight to c4 because it gets your knight out active and you're attacking e5 again, and maybe one day you could like play e4 and then play bishop to maybe d5.
Mm-hmm. You mean bishop to d5 or pawn to e4, something like that.
Oh no, bishop to g5, not d5.
Okay, bishop to g5.
Maybe one day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, after moving the knight, we can one day to like develop bishop because now it's a little bit like squeezed together. Cool, thank you, Blake. Last but not least, you were suggesting knight c4. Do you want to elaborate your idea?
Yeah, after knight c4, I would play knight c4 and then maybe e4 f4.
Knight c4, e4, and then f4.
Yeah.
There's a plan. Any reason about your plan? This three moves.
Because knight's great bishop hasn't developed yet. And
This
I'm
bishop.
not in d4 is kind of blocking queen.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we have a plan from Blake. Cool. So now we have like so far we have like two rows of knight c4, one with like d4 and e4 kicking knight, right? If I'm not mistaken. Cool. Has anyone changed their mind? Or are we still like insisting what we suggested? I will give you like 3 seconds if you want to change your mind. Jaden.
I changed my mind to d4.
You change your mind to d4. Do you want to share your idea?
Well, I just noticed that it does attack e5, same as knight c3, but with a lower valued piece.
Okay.
And
cool. Anything else?
not really.
Okay. So now we have 2 votes for d4. Let's count down 3 seconds. Is anyone want to share? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now like d4 have 2 votes, and let's go with it. d4. I mean, the reason I'm doing such things is first of all, I really encourage all of you to reason when you play chess, to like expect or anticipate the move from the opponent. Sometimes we don't necessarily end up with best like idea, but the way like we reason it is the most important thing in my idea in chess. And also hearing out. I mean, hearing the reasoning from the rest of you is also very like important, precious, because you can because chess is a game sometimes very psychological, because it's not only like you as player to try to choose the best move, also like to kind of to guess the move from your opponent is also like quite essential. So it's good to hear the reasoning from the rest of you. Okay, so black take our pawn. Okay, so let's get back to the way we have done. But I will join you. I will join of you. For the first move, I will take the pawn for sure. And also, there is an open file. Exciting. Knight takes our pawn. Is that a mistake? I don't know. Let's go. Let's start from Jin. Okay, you're the first one. What could be your move on this position?
Probably rook to e1 because then it suddenly pins the queen.
I agree.
I think it's the best move. There's nothing else to stop it.
Yeah, I already make the move. Cool. Yes, I think I agree with you. And great. So yeah, Jaden, I mean, this question is straightforward, but do you want to share the move, Jaden?
Rook takes e6.
Thank you very much. So we have huge advantage. Very nice job, everyone. Knight to e6, and Clara?
And now you can move your D knight out now. I don't know.
So let's analyze the position before we make the move. So we have huge advantage right now. So the next question is, how can we convert this advantage to win it? Okay. So one strategy, I think we mentioned sometimes, it's something reminder to all of you, this when you have this material advantage, a very simple way is to trading pieces, okay, exchanging pieces to simplify the game. And this could be something we can go for. So, okay, Clara, have you made your mind?
Very crumbled and very sorry. Very sorry for the quality. I forgot to give it to you.
I don't know if I'm gonna move my D knight out first or move the knight to D5.
Sorry,
I don't
you mentioned knight to d5. What was the first idea?
I'm
Did you-
moving the D knight somewhere like C4.
Okay, or c4. Okay, knight d5. Okay. Maybe we could like do like this. So, what is the purpose? Knight d5?
To trade pieces.
Trade the knights. Trade the knights. Okay. Then what is the purpose of knight c4?
To get your knight more active or something in a less active. And connect your dark square bishop.
Okay, develop the knight and develop your dark side bishop later. Okay, so I mean sometimes you can find like more than one move equally good, and that's quite normal. So yeah, maybe you can move this one first and this one later, or vice versa, move this first and this later. Maybe these two are equally good. So what do you think, Karen? Or Jaden, do you want to bring some input here because your hand is raising?
I also thought of knight d5.
You're more into 95. Cool. So, Clara, what do you think?
Okay, maybe just knight D5 because like even though we haven't developed the knight like ages. So we might be able to trade more pieces.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know that. As also this first move I thought for, but then I changed it to that. It used to be bishop d5, but then changed it to the knight because maybe their bishop, maybe if those light squared bishop gets traded, their light squared bishop can take advantage advantage of the light squares.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're not sure, I mean, it's fine, but maybe we can do something. Yeah. Sometimes I have this like situation. Also when I play chess, so some move is not very clear. We have an intuition that is a good move, but we are not clear. But maybe we can. I don't know. So sometimes I would like make a move I feel safe, and I will make a decision later of a move I feel more hesitant. So yeah, what do you think, Clara? If you have like 5 seconds to make a decision, if that's a blitz, is that what you do?
Uh, Knight C4.
Knight c4. I think that's a good move. I think these two moves are equally good. Yeah. So that's actually a funny thing when you play chess. So sometimes if you have more than one good moves, it's actually hard to decide. So cool, nice e4. I like this move. Okay, h5. Interesting. So the question to you, Blake, what do you think? This is the first move after Black lost the queen. So it could be something we need to pay attention to because I think our opponent wants to take a revenge because he just lost the queen. So what is the purpose of h5, Blake?
I think he's trying to go H4 and damage the structure.
To try to break out pawn structure and also open the h5.
So right now, I think the safest option is to go H4 ourselves.
To like just stop it. Okay. Cool. Have you decided? Do you want me to make the move?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. h4. g6. Okay, so up to you again, Blake. So let's reverse the order as we did last time. So what is the purpose of g6?
To develop the dogs.
Yeah, I think that's straightforward. Develop the bishop. Then what's your move, Blake?
So I'm thinking bishop G5.
Bishop to g5.
Yeah.
Any reason?
Because if he goes bishop G7, after bishop B7, then he has to play king E7.
So if Black have the bishop at g7, and if you take the knight, the king moves to e7. And the king cannot castle.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your anticipation of the move from your opponent after bishop g5?
I think after bishop G5, he will play a knight to G5.
Trade the pieces.
And after
we
H takes G5, I'm thinking of trying to like pin the knight to the king with like queen E2.
Okay, so we can make the e file like a little bit more open.
Yeah.
I put it this way. Okay. So let's do that. Bishop to g5. Okay, take our knight. Okay, I can make this move. This is simple. I got the simple one for me. Take the knight. Okay, let's see. d6. And back to you, Clara. What's your move? First question.
Probably D5.
Knight to d5.
Knight. Yeah.
And control the center. Attack c7. Or maybe knight f6. Or trade the knight. Make the e file more open. This move looks so good. Let's do that. Knight d5. Cool. King to d8. Interesting move. Jaden, you used your hand. Do you want to say something? Sorry, I didn't
I'm a little bit worried. Right now, I think I'm a bit worried on bishop to e6. I feel a bit worried right now.
You mean black play bishop e6?
Yeah.
So what could be the plan after bishop e6? Well, why are you worried about this move?
Well, one, it double attacks your knight, and when you move the knight, they can take your other knight.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like something like a skew or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your turn. Do you want to make the move?
My move would probably be knight takes knight.
Knight takes e7.
Uh,
Trade pieces. Cool. Trade pieces. Make it simple. Bishop takes. And Jane, what is the plan?
I don't know what to move. I kind of want to keep my G5 pawn. So I'm gonna I'll do F4.
You do f4 to protect the g5 pawn. Okay, yeah, that's
Or
fair.
maybe queen to D5 because it also forks. Well, not fork, but it attacks the F7 pawn.
Attack f7. Okay, and also move our king to the center. Then what do you think the move from opponent after queen d5?
Yeah. It might just be rook to h7 or rook to f8
To protect the f7
because
pawn.
it protects the f7. But if they move the pawn, then we could take it because if they go to f5, we en passant them.
Yeah, if the pawn like advance, we can exchange. Then what about bishop e6? What about bishop e6?
Ooh. Oh, I know. Queen to b7.
You can take the b7 pawn because it's hanging after bishop e6, and also you're attacking the rook.
So
Okay.
then the rook has to go to c8.
Then we win the pawn.
Yeah.
Cool. It looks good to me. So I think you mentioned like f4 earlier. So what is your decision
Yeah.
between these two?
Probably queen to d5.
Queen to d5. Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. So we have done another 2 rounds. And okay, our opponent made h4. But before we make the move, let me like comment the position. So very good job. After winning some material, and we keep like dividing pieces, like moving the knight, moving the bishop, and moving the other knight to the center, and trading some pieces because we know trading pieces can make the position simpler, and moving the queen to the center. So I think a learning or some reminder of some chess theory you learned before is when you have material advantage. Another good thing to do is still developing your pieces because you have advantage. But if you don't use this rook, for example, your like advantage will not get maximized, if you see my point. So if we want to maximize advantage of material, it's better to like still divide our pieces and involve all the pieces to attack our opponent. And in this way, we can like utilize our advantage. Cool. So h4. So black trying to be aggressive. Black want to open the h file. Okay, so let me make the move. I want to make something interesting for you. So instead of doing anything on the h4 pawn, I want to develop a rook. As I said, I want to involve all the pieces. So I move the rook to e1, and my reason is I want to control the open file. So that's my reason. Cool. So black take our pawn. Let's do like this. So let's vote. Let's vote. So give me your idea, everyone. You can type. You can just open your mic and say your idea. And after connect all the ideas, let's like summarize and vote together. Jaden, what do you say? Your hand is up and you're muted, Jaden.
I would say I would probably play. I might take the pawn in f7,
Mm-hmm.
but
Take the S.
but that's a bit risky because he might just take f2 and he can't take back because of a pin.
What do
It's
you
a
mean
bit
pin?
risky. I don't. Yeah, like maybe rook to f8 after. I think I just take
Ah,
it back. I think I take it back. I think
you
I'll
mean
just take it back.
take the G3 back. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. And I might get back to you, Jaden, when I hear more ideas from anyone else. Clara, you mentioned Queen f7. Do you want to elaborate? You are muted.
The first thing that came up to my mind is that the bishop.
You want to attack the
Like,
bishop? Mm-hmm.
and then it could eventually be a checkmate.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so I see your point. I might get back to you, but I would like to hear more from the rest of the
On
folks. Yeah, go ahead,
on
Clara.
the light squared bishop might go to d7.
B7, you mean?
The black squared bishop.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. So Blake, no, Blake. So what is your move? So we have G3 or Queen F7.
Yeah, I would play f takes g3 first.
Mm-hmm. You agree with G3? Any reason? Blake.
So you still have the threats, and there's not really any checks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Jane.
I will take the f7 because then I can, well, nearly, there's one move to block the mate, which is if I take f7, then they have to move bishop to d7, or else there'll be a mate. So when they move bishop to d7, and then we take the e7 with our queen, the king has to go to c8, and then now we can't move our queen to e8.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So it's good that we like anticipate the move from our opponent. But thank you, Jane. Jaden, your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Yes. Well, after queen takes f7, aren't you worried about the pawn taking yours? Because if you like take back with the queen, your attacker is like almost all over, sort of. And then they
Mm-hmm.
could like maybe defend with rook to f8.
I'm not gonna take it with the queen. I'm gonna take it with my king.
Then
It's not gonna get attacked.
then maybe I play rook to f8. Your queen can't move; it's pinned.
Oh yeah, fair point.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So our opponent could play a counterattack move, Rook F8, pin of queen. So if I'm not mistaken, we got 2 votes, Queen to F7, and 2 votes taking the G3 pawn. Very interesting discussion of position. So it's a question about whether we should like attack our opponent immediately, or should we like take the pawn to hold on a bit. Cool. 3 seconds, count down as we did last time. Anyone want to change the mind? Let me know. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Cool. So it's equal. So 2 votes, Queen F7, and like 2 votes taking the G3 pawn. Okay. Anyone want to say something before I move on of this position? Okay, then I would like raise my idea. So my idea is taking the pawn in my eyes, in my idea. And the reason I think Jaden mentioned most of it is we're taking it with the f7 and what about f2? And this is something we have to deal with, right? We need to have the rook, so we have to take that. If we take that with the queen, I mean, our queen f7, then move the queen back. So yeah, our attacking is over, at least for like for some time. But if you take with the king and the rook f8, our queen will be pinned. Clara. You're muted, Clara.
I may have forgotten what I was gonna say.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
I may have forgotten what I was gonna say.
Okay, sorry. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think I forgot.
Okay. But are you still like with queen f7?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Queen f7. Okay. So what you gonna do with pawn to f2, Clara? After you take the f7 pawn and your f2 pawn was taken, what you gonna do? Mm-hmm. So I mean, we can like come to this position when we review the game. So let me just make, because I am more into is G pawn to G3. So we have 3 votes for pawn to G3, and let's do that. I mean, maybe this is not the best move. Maybe there's something more interesting than taking the pawn to take f7. You know what? I was also thinking about f4. So strengthen the g5 and later take the pawn, and also keep our pawn structure like connected. Maybe f4 is good. I don't know. But let's take the pawn, and we will come back to this position to see and review it again. So pawn to f5. Cool. Let's try to finish the game in maybe 10 moves, less than 10 moves. I think we can finalize the game. So Jin, do you want to be the first one to contribute your idea? And I will let you decide this move.
I would do en passant.
You will take the
I just
yeah,
I just kind of think that there's just too many pieces on the board. It's impossible to checkmate.
Mm-hmm. So you want the trade pieces?
Yeah, trade pieces, so then it will be way easier because we have a queen.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Before we move the pawn, Clara, any input?
I feel like we should still move queen f7 because it's still makes attack one checkmate on e7.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Queen to f7. So Jane, what do you think? You are the boss this turn, but do you still like think about like taking the pawn, or do you want to change something?
I'm still gonna take the pawn.
Okay,
No matter
let's do
what.
that. Cool.
No matter what, I'm taking the
Yeah, cool. Let's do that. So we take the pawn. Black takes that. And Jaden, are you the next one? If I'm not because the order on my screen like changed. Jaden, do you want to make the move? Yeah, okay.
I think we should play maybe queen to f7 now.
Queen to f7. And you're attacking the
Bishop and f7, and he's probably gonna have to go to either He's probably gonna go to g5 or hey. Oh wait, he can't go to h4. G5 then.
Mhm.
He's gonna have to go to G5.
Okay, you think the bishop will go to G5. Then what you gonna do next?
And then probably take the I probably take the pawn maybe.
G6 pawn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. But before we move the queen, Blake sent a message, knight d6, 3 times.
Knight d6.
What do you
After
think,
knight
Peter?
my eyes, after knight d6, he takes us back. We take it. Couldn't he just play bishop to d7 to stop the checkmate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. We might have one of 2 pawns, and have. I think I prefer knight d6. Just what happens if he doesn't take? The problem if he doesn't take it.
You mean it doesn't take our knight?
He's probably
It's
gonna
black.
get discover attacked. He's gonna get discover attacked.
The D file open. Yeah, knight to whatever you
I
want.
prefer knight take d6.
Okay, so now you're more into knight d6. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think. But wait. After bishop d7, what do you say, Jaden? What are you gonna do after bishop d7? After bishop d7,
Queen takes f6, of course.
you can take the f6 and you can win 2 pawns. And
With a fork.
yeah,
With
a fork.
So he
Cool.
has to. Oh wait, he has to go to like E. Is that checkmate? No, it isn't. I think he pretty much has to go to C8.
Mm,
I
okay.
prefer knight to definitely.
Okay, cool. So at least we can win like 2 pawns. Like C7 and D6. And maybe more importantly, we can make the king like exposed. Cool. Blake, do you want to add something? Because you suggest knight d6. Do you want to add something? Apart from what we said?
No, it's just 96. If he takes
Cool.
and you
Cool. Thank you for the input. And let's try that. Knight d6. Exciting. I like sacrifice pieces. Only if it works. Cool. Take the knight. So, Clara, is that you the next one?
so but when we take and the bishop blocks,
Bishop blocks. And what you gonna do after
I
bishop d7?
take the bishop,
You take the bishop.
take the f6 bishop.
Okay, cool. A question. How about rook d1? I'm just bringing up questions. What about rook d1, Clara?
Maybe you could just play like rook h7. I'm not sure if that's gonna work.
Yeah, I think rook h7 is the only move to protect the d7 bishop, right? Then this is a question for you all. So if you hope everyone follows. So bishop d7, rook d1, rook h7. Then what about bishop h3, Clara? I don't care about f6 bishop. I just want to, checkmate soon. So bishop h3, what you gonna do?
Can't you after queen takes after rook d1, rook g8? Can't you just play queen g8?
Sorry, Blake, what you said? You mean taking the pawn, bishop d7, you say rook d1, rook h7, and what's that? What is your idea, Blake?
I thought you meant rook d1 straight away.
You mean now, straight away?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it works, so.
Interesting idea. So rook d1, you want to take the pawn later.
Yeah.
Then what do you think the move from black? Rook d1, if we move rook d1. Is there any way black like protect the pawn?
Oh my God.
There's bishop e7.
Bishop e7, yeah? Good move. Then what you gonna do next?
Then I don't see anything else.
Okay. Okay, so I think the pawn is well protected at least because the dark square bishop is really good at protecting dark square pawns. Cool. Clara, your hand is up.
So I like when we take the pawn and they block, and then rook d1, and then rook h7, and then wait, they could, if we move bishop to h3,
Yeah.
they then wait, then they could play king c8.
King c8. Then I will take the bishop with my bishop, check the king, and the king has go to d8, and I think we have a plan of things to do. But never mind. I'm just raising questions. But anyway, I mean, regardless, take the bishop or bishop like h3 or like rook d1, whatever. But are you going to take the pawn, Clara? Yes. You're muted.
Definitely. There's
Yes,
nothing.
definitely. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, that's a very interesting situation I would like to highlight. So sometimes we are overthinking when you play a game in a chess tournament like this one. I mean, overthinking of like, after I take the pawn, what can I do? I take the bishop or rook d1 or bishop to h3 or whatever. So, but if you are sure taking the pawn is the definite thing you can do right now, you can just do it and let the decision like being made in the next move. Okay, so sometimes if you are very sure, like for example, taking the pawn is definitely the next move, just do that, and it could save your time, and you can think about the potential alternative moves while your opponent is thinking. But in this case, your opponent has to move the bishop to d7, but it doesn't be the move. I mean, sometimes your opponent could have like more than one choice. So we can make a decision later just to save our time. So take the pawn. Let's decide the move later. Cool. And I will let the decision to you, Blake. So what you gonna do? Do you want to take the bishop or rook d1 or something else?
I would go rook d1.
Yeah. So do you agree with what we like talked about? Bishop h7, h3.
There's queen f8 also.
Aha, queen f8. Queen f8 and king c7. What you gonna do?
Then queen takes h8.
I mean this one, a8.
A8.
Okay, we can win a rook. Okay, cool. But at least like rook d1 sounds what you want to do, right? Like, let's do. It's very promising that we can finish the game like in one more round. Okay, cool. Rook h7. This is the only move. So back to Blake. What you gonna do? Are you going to? But my question is, do you think queen f8 and bishop h3, which one is better?
I would go bishop h3 first.
Okay, first you want to take the bishop.
Yeah.
Any reason?
Because I still think we have attacking opportunities here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree. So let's move the bishop to h3. Bishop rook to f7. Cool. So Clara, back to you.
I feel like
Are you going to take the bishop?
I might just take the bishop. Yeah.
Yeah, with our bishop. I'm going to do that. Okay? Do you agree?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think the rest of the moves is much simpler. So bishop e7, and back to you, Jaden. Our queen is under attack. What you gonna do?
Since the bishop, when the queen moves, is still protected by the rook, I think I'll just take the g6 pawn for the time being.
Take the G7 and attacking the rook, and
And
also,
you've still got the chance of the discover attack.
yeah, cool. Let's do that. Take the pawn, attack the rook, check our bishop c5. That's a check. And Jane, how would you deal with this check?
I want to move it because there's no point blocking it. So just move it when no one can check you, and I think that is king to g2.
Into g2. Let's move it up. Cool. Oh, so our bishop was captured. Well, it looks like black made a discover attack. Am I right?
I have one idea.
Uh, sorry, did anyone say something? Jaden, do you say something?
Queen to g8 check.
Queen to g8 check. Okay.
Then
So
he's probably gonna have to move to either c7 or e7. Either way, I'm gonna take his rook first.
and then
Because
you can take the a8.
I'm gonna take his other rook.
Good. This is
Yeah.
skewered. Queen g8. I like this move. Very good. King c7. Clara.
I chop rook off. Chop, 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 chop the rook off.
I think this was before, but like when we took like the g6 pawn. Wait, when I took the g6 pawn, like before that.
You mean take the g6 pawn?
Yeah, when we took g6 pawn. Like before we took it.
Like this one? Okay. Then what do you think?
Then
Do you want to...
wait, because like either way, I was just thinking about like bishop c6 or bishop e6.
Okay, then what do you think the move from black? Is that checkmate?
But then they could move like king c8.
Any other move? I think maybe black has another move. Why are you laughing? That's so funny.
I think my brain just stopped working that time.
Okay, yeah, we will take a break. So, but Jaden, do you want to say something? Your hand is up.
I was just saying bishop takes d6.
Yeah, I think we'll lose the queen. We'll lose the queen. So yeah, be careful. Even though we are so close to win. Cool. So yes, I think we don't have to like walk through the rest of it. I think we have like definitely we can win. I mean, I agree with you. Like Jaden, very good. Like take the rook, and this is a chat, and then we can take the other one. Yeah, and we have huge advantage, and we don't have to like play the rest of the game. Good. I claim we are winning. So let's take a break. Let's take a 5-minute break, and we will review the game later. Let's say 5-minute break. Very good job, everyone. Okay, let's come back. Maybe it's not 5 minutes yet, but hope everyone gets recovered or some refresh. Let's review the game. I think we have something to learn. Has anyone come back? Everyone come back? Clara has come back. What about you, Blake, Jing, and Jaden? Have you guys come back?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to like take more like rest, it's fine. I mean, this is recording, so you can always come back. Cool. So yeah, so my first thing I would like to discuss is play d4, and we all know our opponent made a huge blunder. That is like especially taking the pawn. I mean, regardless taking the pawn or not, the e file has been open. So what do you think? Let's think for our opponent. We can also learn from our opponent's perspective. So what would you do if you play as black after white play d4? Clearly, white hopes to open the e file, and I think we talked so many times. So when you play chess, if your opponent offer a piece exchange, most of the cases the exchange favors opponent, and that makes sense, right? So I would say in general, like you need to be so careful if you accept this exchange like this one. But what anything else we can do for our opponent for black, Jaden?
You could play e4
Pawn to e4, black.
to
But
close up the center.
is this pawn lost after e4?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to close center, but then right now it's too early, I think. Any other idea? Jaden, do you want to like add?
Maybe he might be able to quickly protect it with d6.
D6, yeah. I think d6 is a decent move. So if white take the pawn, maybe black can take that with a d pawn, and black still has a pawn in the e file, even though the d file has been like opened instead of e file. There is so less threat on the d file. First of all, your queen and king are not at d file, and white, it's not easy for white to, for example, move the rook to d1 to attack or control the d file. So if you have to like make one of the files open from black's perspective, it's good to like open the d file. It's better to open the d file instead of e file. Yeah, I think d6 is a decent move. Let's move on. So we win material, that's good, and then we develop the knight, and this is good. h5, h4, and g6. So bishop to g5, yeah, take, and d6, and we move that to d5. I really like these two moves. We develop knight and make them like position well. King to d8. Cool. So you know what? I think we have a better move than what we did. 97, you see, is still a good move. There is some up, but there is a better move. There's another move which is the best move. Can anyone find out? I think there is a move better than knight e7. Jaden.
Maybe knight takes d6.
Knight take d6. Why do you think like this is better?
Wait, I think that's a blunder.
Yeah, we lose the knight, right? Because we cannot take the d6 pawn after pawn to d6. At least we cannot like take that right away. The d6 pawn will become an isolated pawn, but it's not easy to take that. Clara.
Queen e2.
Queen e2, and you want to control the file, attack the knight, I guess. But this is not the best move, unfortunately. there is a much better
Wait.
move.
Little queen d4.
24, control the center, attack the rook, I guess. Yeah, it looks good, but no, sorry, this is not the best move because I checked the engine when we take the break. I saw this move when we play this position, but I cannot guarantee this is the best move. I know this is a very good move, but I cannot guarantee the best move. And then when we take the break, I check the engine. That is the best move in my mind. Jaden, your hand is up.
Is it knight to c7?
Knight to D7, C7, exactly. That is the very best move. And you
And
can
then
take D6. Yeah, you can take D6. This pawn is so weak after you take C7. And you take that, that's a checkmate. Yes. So there is a tactical opportunity. So we take the E7, but I mean, since we have huge material advantage, so yeah, we can follow some like simple idea like trading pieces to simplify the game. Queen d5, very good, and we move the rook. This is a good move. This is not the best move, but this is a good move. I mean, maybe we can just take the pawn first, or take f7 first, but I really want to involve like material. Take the pawn, yeah, taking the pawn is the best move. So yeah, because yeah, black could take our pawn. And we take the pawn, that's the best move. We just make more exposed, I like that. And knight d6, very good move, best move, tactical. This is a tactical opportunity. We sacrifice knight to make the black king exposed. And rook d1 and the bishop h. Oh, bishop h3 is not the best move actually. Interesting. I thought this was a very good move. But does anyone know what is the best move right now? We talked about a bishop queen to d. Oh, we talked about queen to f6, right? And we also talked about any other move, queen to f8. Let's turn on the engine. Jaden, do you want to say something?
I think it's queen to f8. Check.
Then we can win the rook.
And also threaten b7.
Okay, yeah. Queen to f8. Let's see. Let's turn on the engine. Oh, queen to f6 is the best move. And queen to f8 is the second best move. Queen to f8 is the second best move. Queen to f6 is the best move. Yeah, maybe because after you take the bishop, king to c7, and what's next? Okay, I know, because you can move the queen back again, and then you can do whatever we want. So basically, you can win a lot of theory. Yeah, but I think either way, I mean, also including like bishop h3, we can still like win. You can like checkmate in 8, checkmate 8. That's incredible. Queen e6. Oh, yeah. I mean, when you check the engine, when you review the game, you can always find something interesting, surprising, a little surprising. And the engine suggests queen e6. This is not easy to find, but then we can checkmate e6 because we can take the rook, take the bishop with the rook first, and then checkmate. Interesting. But yeah, we still converted to win. Queen g6 and take the rook, take it. Good, nice. So I think next time we can challenge even more like a difficult bot, and I hope we can learn something out of it. So we still have some minutes left, so let's try some puzzle before we wrap things up, like this one, because we haven't. Sorry, Jaden, do you say something? So yeah, so this is a puzzle for today. And white moved the queen from a4 to b3. This is not a warm-up. I would rather call it a cooling down. Black to move. Clara?
I know if this is it, but the first thing I looked at was bishop takes g3. I don't know if that's gonna work though.
Bishop takes g3. And the first idea is, what about pawn taking your bishop?
Then queen f3.
Queen f3.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to attack the rook and also the e3 pawn, because f2 pawn moved to g3. Then what about, sorry, do you want to say something?
I couldn't think of anything else.
Then where can the rook escape? Can the rook, for example, if the rook moves to g1, what are you going to do? Let's follow this thought. Rook g1, what are you going to do?
Queen takes e3.
Queen takes e3, then what about bishop e2?
Knight takes d4.
Knight takes d4. Okay, looks good. Then queen to d1.
Knight f3.
Knight to f3, that's a check. And king to f1, that's the only move because bishop is pinned.
I didn't know. Now I don't know like what I'm doing because wait, is there no? No, I don't really know what to do because I can't see if it already happened or not.
Okay, so yeah, I know it's challenging because we have made so many moves, but it's also very good practice to try to move the pieces in your head. So, but you mentioned bishop to g3. Does anyone else have any other idea? So let's zoom out a bit. So let's look at the position first. So first of all, my intuition like told me that it's not easy to checkmate because like all of pieces are far away from the king, and the king is quite like safe. At least the pawns are covering the king. So the first thing we need to think about is how can we win material? If we can win material, that's still a very good like advantage. And then I realized the h1 rook is a hanging piece. Because if you want to win material, so a hanging piece could be a good target, like this one. Okay, Jaden, do you want to say something? Your hand is up.
Queen to f3.
Queen f3, attack the rook immediately, like this one.
If he's probably gonna go.
Then what about rook g1?
Rook g1. If rook g1, I don't know what I should do.
Okay.
I was thinking of rook to h2 there because I thought like maybe rook to h2 because I was thinking of bishop takes now, and then after takes back we can like do a fork on the king and the rook.
What do you mean fork? What is a move?
If rook to h2 I was thinking about rook to h2. If to h2 we could just sacrifice, and then pawn takes we can win the rook on if it's on h2. But if it's on g1 we can't.
Sorry, Jaden. How do you win the rook?
I know. Queen to f3. Rook to h2 if.
Yeah, rook to h2, then?
Bishop sacrifices itself on g3.
And then what about pawn taking a bishop?
And then can we just like maybe play queen takes?
Queen to g3, and then rook f2.
Can we play queen takes e3?
Queen takes e3, then the rook e2.
And then I don't know what to do next.
Yeah, but we have a feeling that something should happen at this king side, right? It's good that we noticed we have this bishop and the queen. It looks like we have something to do. So let's try some ideas. For example, let's try bishop g3. I make it simpler, but let's see. So queen to f3. Okay, why play queen to c2, and then we can win the rook. But shall we take the rook? Yes, it's correct. But let's take a couple of more seconds to see something I think Clara mentioned. Like, did we say something rook g1, right? And we take the pawn and bishop e2, right? So actually, first of all, we can win the rook, but I really like the idea of knight to d4 to attack the bishop. There's a threat of checkmate. The queen moved to d1. Knight f3, that's a very good move, brilliant move. And then we can win the rook with queen to g1. That's a checkmate. So, but I know it's not easy when you like visualize the moves at this position, but this is something at least we can aim for, okay? To visualize the moves at least like 8 to 10 moves. If you can do that, I'm pretty sure our strengths in tactical moves, a tactical opportunity can be trained in this way. Cool. Thank you, everyone. A very fun session today. So, very good job. Thank you. And that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.